is up. So I want to talk about the idea of just things being overcomplicated and just in general, just wanting to live in a simpler kind of way and simplifying things. So it sounds a bit broad, which it kind of is, to be fair, but let's kind of get into it. So really the reason why this kind of topic came up is just because I was thinking about just things in life that, in all honesty, just felt really difficult, and I just feel like there's always ways of explaining things or doing things in a simpler way, but I feel like sometimes people just think it's cool that, I don't know, something's in like a more complicated way. So for example, the idea of memes, and when I say memes, it's not like, photos with like a caption. I'm talking about memes. Let's find the definition. So it's an idea, behaviour, style or usage that spreads from person to person within a culture. So basically it's just the idea of spreading information around. And when it comes to that, really you don't want to maybe some minor kind of ways you might want to, but in general you don't really want to discriminate people or discriminate your information being spread. Surely if you have something out there you really want to, and you want to spread it, or you want to inform people, you want everyone to be able to really get the grasp of it, right? And really it kind of comes down to kind of two instances, and there's probably more, but I haven't thought about it too much. But so kind of two ways where I've really seen this happen is basically within like academic papers and movies. So let's go one by one, right? So within academic papers, again, I'm not really getting messages. I'm not really shooting shots at people, but I done a degree in geography and economics. So not really the economic side, but the geography side included a lot of reading academic papers. And I remember when I was reading this stuff, it was just like so complicated to the point where literally I would have to sometimes read every line and try and really figure out and decipher what it meant and like definitions of certain words. And within the academic world, I feel like because a lot of academics, they've had to get a PhD, I presume. They've gone through a lot of time studying, the point where they probably read a lot of academic articles and they probably feel like, do you know what? I need to show that I've got a doctor in front of my name, so I need to, use these complicated words and make it really difficult to read, which it is. That's the thing. I wouldn't say I'm stupid, but a lot of these papers I read was just so overly complicated, and it felt so unnecessary, because surely you want your ideas to kind of be easily accessible and digestible from everyone, because then people from all backgrounds can be able to read your stuff. Whereas I felt like within academia it was very, it just felt very streamlined. They wanted certain people to read it only, which I don't know, I didn't really like that. So that's kind of one example. The second one is about kind of movies. Oh yeah, back on the first one, sorry, with academic papers. Even within like things like medicine, surely you want people to be able to, actually that's probably a bad example, let's move on. Movies, again, I don't know if I've got some underlying condition, I don't know, but when I watch a movie, a lot of the time I do kind of find it difficult to kind of keep up with it and understand it. And there could be reasons, like most of the time I'm usually kind of on my phone and I have the movie on in the background, but when I do try and pay attention, sometimes I just don't understand what's going on. And I wouldn't say it's a lot of the time, but I say quite a few times it's happened. And there's certain directors, but one really stand out to me who, again, this director, I know people think I'm stupid for saying this, but I just don't understand this like director. So it's Christopher Nolan. His Dark Knight movie was really good, but his other movies I've seen, I don't think I've seen a movie that I actually like of him, apart from Dark Knight. And the main kind of reason is just because I find he's very, very complicated, his movies. And I just don't really know where to go from there. Like, a lot of it is just, if you watch, I'm not even going to name movies, but a lot of his movies, a lot of it is kind of about time travel, different universes and stuff like that. It's just like, it just gets to the point where you're like, I don't understand. This is meant to be a movie because you want a lot of people to basically watch it, but I really don't think people even understand it. Because when I read the reviews, I see some of these reviews and it's like just the best review possible. Again, a lot of those are probably from movie critics, but from the ordinary people, I'm just a bit like, I don't understand how they can really enjoy a movie when it's so complicated. One movie that I just, God, I mean, it won the Oscar, didn't it? I think it was Everything Everywhere All at Once. And again, I'm not hating, but I really think it was the worst movie I've seen in my whole life. I really do think so. It's just so random, and it was just like, we didn't know what was going on. Like, that's what I'm saying. And when it comes to, if you're going to make a movie, you want to make it so people understand. You want everyone to be able to, watch the movie and be like, wow, And I feel like with these directors, they get a lot of praise. And I just don't understand why. So, I don't know, it seems a bit weird. So, in terms of why it affects me, I don't really know. I think, especially within like education wise, maybe I could have progressed further or maybe done better if ideas were just presented in a much easier way. So, especially in education, for example, when you're doing your like GCSEs and A levels, I mean, some of the, like, if you read textbooks and like, I'm not saying teachers are bad, but it's just a lot of things are just really just overly complicated. And there is like an actual legit thing where a lot of, I think it's especially maths, where the education system will, I'm not just saying this to like kind of justify why I didn't do too bad, but the education system will genuinely just overcomplicate things and show methods of reaching outcomes in a more complicated way. And then that's probably why, because in reality, tuitioning and tutors, you really shouldn't need to have tutors within the school education system, because surely your teachers should be able to teach you properly and explain it in a simple way. But now it's a lot different because you have things like ChatGPT. So you can literally ask, the AI software to, I don't know, can you simplify this concept and make it sure, I don't know, like a 10-year-old understands this. So I think things like that makes it much easier, and I probably would have really benefited from that, to be honest with you. What else really? That's basically it. So, for me, whenever anything I do in my life, really, I'm never overcomplicating it. I'm always trying to either explain it simply or trying to, look at the information and try and put it in a simple format. And it sucks you have to do that. Really, it should just be so simple that anyone can understand things. But I guess that's what it is, right? But in general, I am really super against just complicated things that try to seem all cool and clever and intellectual. I really don't care about that kind of stuff. I really don't. I mean, it's really not my cup of tea. I used to subscribe to this thing called Finimize when I tried to act interested in the news, but basically the whole concept of it was, it got all these news articles, or not news, but it just kind of condensed the most pressing topics. It was daily, and they would email you, and it was in very simple basic terms. They're talking about financial concepts, they're talking about political things like bond markets, the financial markets, all things like that, economic stuff, but they're really explaining it in really simple terms. And that was cool, because when you read things like The Economist or Financial Times, it is crazy. Like, it is not easy to read. And for things like that, maybe they have got a market who they're trying to market to within the Financial Times. But surely you want to get your knowledge out to everyone. I don't know. That's just my kind of 2 cents on the whole situation. But yeah, that's basically it. So let me know maybe instances where you feel like things are being overcomplicated for you when they really shouldn't have been. It'll just be interesting. But in general, I don't really find it cool or hip for something to be like so, or I don't find it exclusive when people try to show things in a kind of complicated way. It's like, no, just get to the point, make it so everyone understands, and then everyone can really, I don't know, enjoy what you have to say. But I don't know, maybe you're different. Let me know in the comments below. As again, oh, by the way, I messed up. Ugh, I'm so like stupid about it. I mean, I thought I was making a lot of progress with the channel. I was like, yes, I'm on like the 40th upload, whatever. But no, I'm only on my like 31st. What am I? I'm on my 31st upload. So this is my 32nd. So, I mean, the actual titles of the videos, I've changed it so it's fine. But the actual thumbnails show the wrong things. And I'm just like, do I even have time to re-upload them? I don't really know. But yeah, in case you recognise, yeah, I was being a bit dumb. But yeah, that's basically it. So, yeah, man, I am off. Enjoy the rest of the week and goodbye. Peace.